Thank you, Steve. Yeah, we're going to do this sort of like the Donahue Show. Remember the Donahue Show when they'd have a guest and we'd have everything from questions from Phil to Phil getting questions from the audience. And we're going to dissect and pry apart the music of the Nashville Bluegrass Band and find out all their inner secrets. And right.
Can't do it.
Anyway, as you know, of course, Stuart's not here, but they started out as a four-piece without Stuart, and I think they know what to do. In fact, especially with Sally being here, it's going to really make some new special kinds of things happen. And are you ready? You better. I mean, it's your job. As soon as you guys are ready, I'll just turn you loose so that you can hear these guys and gal play all together. So I'll just get away. See you in a bit.
I think we need to Sally in the monitor when she gets ready.
Did you forget your strap at home?
No, but I saw this chair and I thought it was like visually feng shui.
Perfect.
I have an excuse. What's yours?
I'm a woman. I don't need an excuse.
Uh-oh. Y'all agree with that?
Just is, right? It just is.
Woman shoots boy.
Let's see. Sally, if you'll hit that a little bit, let's see if we can get you.
Yeah. Want to hear you.
Just a little bit
There
more
we
on the
go.
monitor.
Yeah. You getting any monitor there, Sally? You kind of far from it.
Put it on the mark that says drums.
Loud here now, bring it.
Yeah, turn it up just a little bit.
Maybe we should turn the vocals down.
Check test.
Not this
one.
In the monitors.
Yeah, you better bring this one down a little bit. The monitors.
Bring the vocals down just a little bit in the monitors.
Check test 1 2.
Check
test 1 2. Check test 1 2. How's that?
They're plenty loud.
Still too loud?
No, they're loud in the mains. Yeah.
Check test.
So you can turn them down in the monitors.
They had banjos going all night. Their ears are damaged. Check test.
We'll get just a touch more monitor, my manman monitor. And that's good.
Wish I could sit down.
2, 3. Put no stone in my head, no flowers on my tomb, no gold-plated sign in a marble-pillared room. There's one thing I want when they lay me in the ground. When I die, tear my steel house down. When I was a lad, way back in the hills, I laughed at the men who tended those stills. But that old Mount Shine, it caught me somehow. When I die, tear my steel house down. Oh, tear my steel house down. Let it go rust. I'll leave no trace of the hiding place where I made that evil stuff. For all my time and money, no profit did I see. That old copper kettle was the death of me. Go tell all your children, hell ain't no dream. Satan, he lives in my whiskey machine. Oh, in my time of dying, I know where I'm bound. When I die, tear my steel house down. Oh, tear my steel house down. Let it go to rust. I'll leave no trace of the hiding place where I made that evil stuff. All my time and money, no profit did I see. That old copper kettle was the death of me. That old copper kettle was the death of me. Thank you.
No, that's still fun. I can't.
Thank you all for coming out. And
Hey.
yeah.
Well, I'll just borrow some of yours.
We're so glad that Sally could help us out this weekend. Just thinking about it, we've had over a number of years we've been together. Several people sit in with us and sub for somebody who's sick or drunk or something. But no one has sat in with us more or played music with us more on stage than Sally.
This is so fun.
So. Even when we have a full complement and Sally's around, she always joins us and is always welcome. You're going to stand? Is it?
I can't see you guys. I hate that.
It must be a gender thing.
All you can see is bottoms, huh?
Yeah, I'm going to take bottoms.
That song we just did, "Tear My Stillhouse Down," was written by Gillian Welch. I'm sure some of you are familiar with her music. And when she first moved to Nashville, she showed up, and Denise Stiff, who was an agent with Keith Case and Associates at that time before she went on her own, said, "I have a tape of somebody new that came to town. You might like some of her songs," and that song was on it. And since that time, we recorded 2 more of her songs. So she's a really good songwriter, and I don't know where she comes up with that stuff. She sounds like, she writes stuff like she's 80 years old and experienced it all, and I hope she hasn't. If she has,
She would be with us.
But anyway, that's "Tear My Stillhouse Down." And Pete is opening up.
Tear my tent down.
I love the sound of Velcro in the morning. Gets my blood up. So let's see. We're here. I don't know what we're going to do next. Doorstep of Trouble. That's a good one. All right. This is one Roland sings, has sung for quite a few years.
With a capo, it's D. You're right. This is a song that was written by John. Check. I don't hear myself all of a sudden. This is a song that was written by John Hadley many years ago, and I've been singing for a long time. It's a really good one. It tells my story. I'm standing on the doorstep of trouble. I'm standing on the doorstep of trouble, standing on the doorstep of pain, watching the sun roll over that hill. I'm wondering where my good love has been, Lord, Lord, wondering where my good love has been. Standing on my blue doorstep crying, looking at the sidewalk at my feet. I'm wondering why the good times pass by, like the morning whistle blowing down the street. Lord, Lord, the morning whistle blowing down the street. Oh, get that one. I don't even care about moving to a place where the rent ain't so high. Oh, I'm paid up for the rest of my life. Gonna live here till the day I die. Lord, Lord, live here till the day I die. I don't even care about moving to a place where the rain ain't so high. Yeah, I'm paid up for the rest of my life. Gonna live here till the day I die. Lord, Lord, live here till the day I die. I'm standing on the doorstep of trouble, standing on the doorstep of pain, watching the sun roll over that hill. I wonder where my good love has been. Lord, Lord, I wonder where my good love has been. Thank you. In my way.
All right, I'll start the Donahue thing. Are we on? Good. All right, well, you got a good chance to hear some sampling of the sound of this fine band. Band started in 1984, am I right about that?
1984, and we got some gigs in 1985.
Excellent. And it started as a four-piece, and the two enduring members from the beginning are Pat Enright and Alan O'Brien. And what was the concept, would you say, of the band? You say, we're going to put together a band, and we're going to, here's our thing. Our thing is what? What were you thinking about?
Well, we actually got together. There was a tour with Minnie Pearl in late '84, and a promoter. I'm going to try to make this brief. A promoter in New York called Alan up and says, if you put a bluegrass band together, we got a month's worth of work. And Minnie Pearl, and there was some Western swing and some dancers, and like an old-time road show, and they wanted a bluegrass band. So Alan called me up, and we called up Mike Compton and Mark Hembry, and maybe bring this down a little bit in the monitors. Thank you. Brought the band together to do that tour. And there was no real idea of it continuing on. But we did the tour for about a month, and we liked what we were doing. And I think both Alan and I, too, had played a lot in Nashville, both together with other people. And just both of us at the time wanted to do something that we wanted to do and approach it our way, the way we felt like doing it. And it was sounding good by the time the tour was, so we decided to continue on and say we actually got more gigs in '85. And Stewart joined the band in '85, and then it really started to gel together. And that's kind of it.
When did Mike come in?
Mike Compton was in on that tour. Mike Compton and Mark Hembry and Alan and myself were the original four members. You have your own sound, your own style in bluegrass, and I just wondered to what degree you had a concept that we're going to sound different from other bands by doing fill in the blank. I don't know. Maybe it was. I think it was more approach to material than style with our playing. Playing's fairly traditional style. We don't go out too far to the left or to the right. We kind of waver in the middle and try not to hit the guardrails. But it's our choice of material. We opened up. We wanted to do songs that were lyrically valid and had some something to them besides, And somebody mentioned to us once doing an interview that a lot of, the songs have been written about a Southern boy leaving home and missing mama in the mountains. Those have been done. There's enough of those. So we decided to do some different kinds of material.
Yeah, I can't help but consider that, well, you're originally from Indiana, right?
Yeah.
But had a lot of your formative years in California, correct? Mm-hmm. You're originally from Maine? Mm-hmm. Quite a few formative years in Maine, and then California, right?
Yeah, until I was 16 and went to California. I left when I was 29.
All right.
Just in time.
Gene grew up in
Redondo Beach,
California. This is the Nashville Bluegrass Band, remember? Let's not forget that. And Alan, you're from Tennessee, are you not?
No,
No? No?
I'm from Carlton Haney's hometown.
Oh, that's right, Reedsville. I knew that. In Reedsville, North Carolina, where some of the earliest bluegrass festivals were held.
That's where they say Carolina. Carolina.
Upholstery.
All right.
Insurance.
And the insurance, and of course the fiddle player who's not here. He's also originally from California. So, of course, they all now live in Nashville, and I don't know. There's still a real Nashville flavor to the thing that kind of a feeling to me that I get of a real understanding of the tradition. The bluegrass of the '40s lives a lot more in your band, I feel like, than quite a few of the other popular bands nowadays, and. It's just a stylistic thing, and it's one of the things I like best. In fact, the duet singing is, trio singing kind of took over for a fair amount of time, and you guys have done a lot of duets. And one other thing that makes you guys special is there's 3 real good lead singers in this band. 2 of them actually all of you can sing the tenor part. Roland and Pat and Alan sometimes sing the tenor part. Isn't that right? Do I have that right? Well, and then switching off with the leads as well. So I don't know. I just wanted to point out a few of the stylistic things that make this band different from a lot of the others. And why don't you guys do another number, and we'll ask you some more specific questions about how you do what you do. How about that?
Sing something, Alan. Sally has left the stage momentarily. She's back.
I can do this. I don't know if I can remember it or not.
What's the key?
I think it's, is it G minor?
It's the Homeless Waltz.
Yeah, this song's just pitiful. It's about all you can say about it. It was written by an acquaintance of mine, Carl Jones, from around Garner, North Carolina, and he's sort of a just nearly homeless kind of guy. So we'll do this. This is called the Homeless Waltz. Nowhere to go, no one I know, feeling so helpless and all alone, moving along, shuffling roam, that's the homeless waltz, feeling abused, holding my shoes, I'm overlooked, yesterday's news, hunger that gnaws without a pause, that's the homeless waltz. People get so greedy by the needy do without. The dancers keep on dancing while the music's fading out. Every day, bodies that sway, looking for shelter, someplace to lay, not knowing when they'll find it again. That's the homeless waltz. People get so greedy while the needy do without. The dancers keep on dancing while the music's fading out. everyday bodies that sway, looking for shelter, someplace to lay, not knowing when they'll find it again. That's the homeless wall.
He says that wasn't very 40s, was it? That's okay. In fact, I think one of the things that I always look for myself in any band that I'm checking out and want to see if I'm going to appreciate them is what the material is like, you know. And there are great songs that go back a long way. If they've been around for that long, probably they've already been discovered by a lot of bands and they've already been done a lot. And it's really a challenge for a band to keep its stylistic identity and still be looking for the kinds of songs that will fit into what the band really feels is their kind of music. So I'll put this out to any of you. What do you look for when you're picking out material? You get a bunch of things sent to you. You listen to various sources. What are the things that make a piece of material stand out to you and say, this is going to be a good song for our band?
Sally?
I thought you were talking to them.
No, I'm asking you.
Lyrics. Lyrics. Voids.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, when I listen to a piece of material, I sort of listen to how the whole thing washes over me, right to start with. And I don't really worry that much about the lyrics or the melody or how fast it is or anything. If it kind of washes over me, or if there's something about it that hits me in a way, or triggers a synapse in my head where I can hear a way that it washes over me, that I really like it. Because I think really what music does is communicate emotion. I think that's what really good music does. And if I can hear a way to do that with a song, if it's just fun or if it conveys pitifulness like that last one, or any other kind of emotion. But, I listen to the words, see if it makes sense, see if it would work for this band.
Want to add anything to that, Pat?
Sometimes a song washes over me, and then I'll listen to the lyrics, and it stops washing over me. Sometimes I have to write the lyrics out before I really do I really want to do this song, and sometimes I write the lyrics out, and sometimes they don't make any sense, and it kind of goes out the window.
That would be poetry.
I guess so.
I asked Tim O'Brien, what are the, he did this Bob Dylan record. I said, what is O Senor? What is that about? He said, I don't know. But there's a feel in that song that makes you get into it. What makes you, there's some arrangement factors with you guys. You have three different people who might sing the lead on it. You might sing a solo. That was a solo. There was no, there was no refrain or something. You didn't join in singing in 4-part harmony, the homeless waltz, What are some of the things that happen when you have a band rehearsal and somebody brings a song and says, I think we might like to do this? What are kind of, give us a sample of that kind of thing, even on maybe one of the tunes you've already done, the decision process about that.
Who wins? Yeah. Generally, when somebody brings a song in, I think if I bring a song in, more than likely I want to sing it, but not always. And as far as who sings what parts, I guess we've been doing it long enough that we kind of figure out, okay, I should sing tenor, or Alan should sing tenor, or Alan should sing lead, or I should sing lead. We don't do as many trios as a lot of bands do. A lot of times, we do a trio if it really needs that part, or if it really is the kind of song that needs a more richness to the harmony. We'll do a trio, but we'll start with a duet. We'll start with a solo, and sometimes that's it. You don't want to add another harmony part. We'll add a tenor part to it, and then maybe we might add a third part to it if somebody says, I think it would sound good with it. But we don't necessarily, say, okay, who's going to sing the third part, because there might not be one.
what's the kind of thing that makes you want to decide to have a second part on a tune instead of just a solo?
I guess the melody on either throughout the whole song or the chorus just kind of says, yeah, put another part, put a tenor part on this.
All right. We have now. There's one question. Of course, everybody knows. Everybody wants to ask Alan. The question you probably get asked the very most. Maybe we should all ask it at the same time. Has to do with So ready?
Where's my tattoo?
No. Let's all ask it at the same time. What's the deal about why you put up the banjo by the microphone and sing into it? Right?
Glad you. Well, I started doing that to get the weight off my diaphragm, just to get a little extra control over the high notes, because I got the shelf started out here, and so I picked it up like that, woo, and one day it just kind of lit up on me like that. So I started doing that. I started lifting it way up.
Reflective surface sound comes back.
Yeah, well, you get the sympathetic vibrations off the strings, woo, when it's tuned in the key that you're singing in, and it'll just kind of light up. And so I just kind of started doing it like that, and it kind of got to be a thing. A lot of people started asking me about it, and now, if I didn't do it, people would be really disappointed. So it's kind of like Roy Orbison's sunglasses, you get a good thing, you go with it.
I agree with that very much. And the other thing I always, you don't, a lot of times when you're singing your lead, you're not really playing. I mean, whether or not you're holding the banjo up, you just have your hands off the instrument, and that, I assume, is just to concentrate a little more on the singing, or do you actually not want to hear the banjo kind of?
People in the past have commented to me about, you can play banjo and sing at the same time, and I used to play banjo more while I was singing than I do these days. And I don't know if it's so much to concentrate on the singing as it is, there's just enough going on without that incessant rattle thing going on, while you're trying to listen to words, and you've got this da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da.
There's a banjo joke.
Yeah, it just, I think there's enough going on, and it kind of helps thin things out a little bit, And anymore, I think I do it for that reason as much as anything, unless there's some rhythmic purpose for doing it. Like if we're going to do, say, Doghouse Blues, and I'm... Got them Doghouse Blues. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo. Like that. Well, I could, but it's like it's got a thing. Okay. All right.
Well, I'm in downtown, have a big frown, came home this morning, crawling on the ground. Doddy, got them doghouse blues. Woo-hoo-hoo. Got home this morning at 8:30. She said, honey, hour too late. Lord, got them doghouse blues. Hey, now you're parking. Got the doghouse blues. Fishing for an excuse, she don't if so it ain't no use. Lordy, got them doghouse blues. Well, I went in the house, started to find she kicked me out in the middle of the night. Lordy, got them doghouse blues. I'm mighty the yard is fat, it's like a beast head, a little like a make room for me, loud, little doggy, got them doghouse blues. Hey, now you're parking, I got the doghouse blues. Hey, Nuggets parking. I got the doghouse blues.
I'll just point out a little stylistic thing I was talking about. The music of the 40s lives on. Well, about one of the very first recordings that was ever thought of as bluegrass music was the Mule Skinner Blues by Bill Monroe, where it was Bill on guitar, even back recorded someplace about 1940 or 41. And there's a da 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 dum da dum da 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 dum riff, and they put it in this song. And this song is this Bill Monroe material also from the 40s, I believe?
Yeah.
Now I'm sure that Bill didn't do the fishing pantomime thing. Did you see that when he did that? I like that. You might have? You think? Well, he was he did tennis, right? Now, Monroe, a lot of people think Monroe a very stern guy, lots of rules in his head and everything like that. But a big part of his idea was entertainment. He had comedians on the show, and he danced on the show, and he had a lot more entertainment in him than I think an awful lot of the people sometimes give him credit for. And I remember seeing Alan. In fact, one of the first times I saw you, you were doing Blue Night. And when you got to the line, I used to call you on the telephone. You went like that. And I thought, oh, that is really cool. We don't see all the people are busy with both hands playing their instrument, and to kind of stop playing the instrument just so you can kind of, well, it's also, in other kinds of music, they have people signing for the blind. We don't have that in bluegrass, but if you're watching Alan, you know what the song's about. That's an important thing. Oh, signing for the deaf. What am I saying? Signing for the blind. I'm sorry. Somebody had to be really politically incorrect, and I took the fall on that one. Thank you, folks. It's a new idea. Maybe we'll go with that. Put out an instruction video. Now, haven't gotten to talk too much to Roland yet. I want to ask Roland a thing or two here. Roland really represents an incredible body of experience because first time I saw you was in 1964 playing with your brother Clarence and a fine band called the Kentucky Colonels that was kind of setting the world on fire there for a couple of years back in the 60s, and things didn't work out good enough, unfortunately, and they disbanded, but wasn't too many years before Bill Monroe asked Roland to be a member of his band, and he played, how many years in the Bluegrass Boys?
I asked him.
Oh,
You did?
Yeah, I asked him for the job. He didn't ask me.
you just showed up and kicked out the other guy, huh?
I was with him a year and 8.5 months.
And then after that, the next employer was?
Lester Flatt.
So we're talking about 3 major bands in the history of bluegrass music, and that's all before he got a chance to play in this band. And that vacancy came open when? About, what
This
year?
band?
Yeah.
Well, next was Country Gazette for 13 years.
Duh. Excuse me. Sorry about that.
That's 13 years, a big part of my life. And then 11 years with this band, almost 12 years.
Wow. Yeah, I'll go back and read my history book.
How does that make me?
Well, all right. Now this this band has its own sound. When you got asked to be in this band, what did you feel you were going to be able to contribute to the group?
I wasn't sure. I just knew the first time I heard the band, I knew they were doing the right thing. It was like listening for the first time when I first heard Flatt and Scruggs and Monroe and Chubby Wise. I said, wow, this is one of those bands. Never thinking I'd be in it, and it happened that way, and I was only too excited to try it. All I could do is try it and see how it worked out. And I've learned a lot more in this band than I have in any other band. Wow. About how to play my instrument. the way I really want to.
Could you make any description of that? Like, what you used to do and then what you started doing differently when you were in this band?
Well, what I used to do was I was kind of haphazardly just doing stuff. When I joined this band, I thought, well, I've got to think more about what I'm doing, and there's a lot of things I want to do that I never had a chance to do. A lot of things that I wanted to do on the mandolin that I never did because it would never work out with Country Gazette. It was working out some of the Kentucky Colonels, but that kind of we disbanded it, So in this band, I was able to do more of that and truly express myself and experiment with those things, ideas that I had in mind.
I have to say something. I'm a friend of Mike Compton's also, and I at Augusta Heritage, which is another camp similar to this. I asked Mike who his influences were, fully expecting him to only say Monroe, because if you know Mike's playing, is very bluesy and real pretty traditional, and he bends the notes really well. You were the person he told me. He said he patterned a lot of his playing after you, and he was serious. So I think that's pretty great.
Well, I think Mike's a great player. I listen to Mike all the time.
Yeah, he's a great player.
I listen to him like I listen to Monroe.
Yeah, well, I think it's the same that he does for you.
And Mike will be here this weekend playing with John Hartford, so you'll get a chance to hear him do some wonderful stuff. Well, Roland, could you think about some tune that you really like to play in this band on the mandolin? It doesn't have to be an instrumental, but just something that might illustrate, the kind of way you were thinking about what you were doing, and on this song it kind of came to something that you like. Threw that one at him. Meanwhile, folks, while he's thinking about the answer to that question, we're going to open the floor in a little bit and give you a chance to ask any questions or even a request of material here or there, because we still have a fair amount of time before we get into the harmony singing part of this morning's program. Got an idea?
Yeah, Alan mentioned something, and this is really good. In Country Gazette, we got to do things that weren't really just strictly bluegrass, but things that we could do in swing, a little bit of swing, and it went over real well. So when I joined this band, we did a little swing tune that people like it a lot. It's no Floyd tune. F. Pink Floyd. No, Floyd Tillman.
Pink Floyd Tillman, yeah.
Pink. And it's a little bit of picking that different style of picking that I get to touch upon. That's the right way to say it. So, anyway, it's just called "I'll Just Keep on Loving You." Well, if the world keeps on turning, as I'm sure it's bound to do, and then I'll keep on loving you. If the stars stay in heaven and the moon stays in the blue, I think it wouldn't matter to me at all. If the stars stay in heaven and the moon stays in the blue, then I'll keep on loving you. Well, if ever I should lose you, and I know just what I do, I just keep on loving you. 'Cause you're heaven to me, dear, your every dream come true. So I'll keep on loving you. Life is sweet when you're near, I couldn't do without you, dear. I love you so, I want you to know, I think of you wherever I go. I will always be faithful, and I know you're going to be too. But I'll keep on loving you. Well, I will always be faithful, and I know you're going to be too. So I keep on loving you. Thank you.
That little blank spot there is where Stuart goes, ba-da-da-da-da, ba-da-da-da. Oh.
I want to ask Roland another question. This is sort of a little bit off the topic of music, but it's related, really. And that is, you've been a road musician for 35-plus years. That's a lot of time, right?
Since 1959.
Since 1959, so now we're talking over 40 years. All right. That makes you at least 42 years old.
Exactly. You perfect.
And there's a lot of people who didn't get through, a period of time like that because their health gives out on them or something like that. They don't take care of themselves. And I know that you make a point of taking good care of yourself physically. You look like you're in the best shape I've ever seen you in. You never looked like you were in bad shape, but you seem healthier and healthier these days.
Healthier than I've ever been.
Well, why don't you talk a little bit about that and how it relates to making you the best musician you can be?
Gee.
All that drinking and drugs.
Yeah, right. Well, I discovered, like in the mid-'70s, the Country Gazette, late '70s, that things were getting harder to do, traveling and all that. And because I was smoking cigarettes and drinking coffee and driving this all the time and playing gigs and not sleeping, And so I decided doctors told me that I should quit smoking. So it took 10 years to really just get it done. I don't know. And not as much as I used to because I broke my leg. But
the question was, do you run? And
do I run?
Yeah. They might not have heard Sally ask you that.
I do exercise a lot. Not as much as I need to, but quite a bit. And then in my family history is a lot of heart problems. Coronary heart disease is a big thing in my dad's family. There's 17 siblings in my dad's family, and they all suffer from it. My dad died young, and I decided I wasn't going to die young. I thought when I reached 50 years old, I thought, well, my dad died at 57. I don't only have 7 years to go if I don't watch it. Hell with this, So then I really started reading a lot and studying a lot about, vegetarian, and my wife wanted to do it also, so we both went for it, and that's probably why I'm still here. I don't know. It's not a casual thing. We lost Carter Stanley at the age of 41. It's really an awful lot of good music that if he'd taken a little better care of himself, maybe he wouldn't have had so much of the blues that he sang about, but we'd still have him around with Ralph today. Who knows? Well, let's see. We haven't gotten to talk a whole lot yet with Gene, and I wanted to Gene's is just a phenomenal bass player and also a great presence on stage. I like both of those aspects of your contribution. And when you got asked to join the band, what was going through your mind about what you would be able to contribute to the band?
When I was just a boy, when I was asked to join this band, I was in another career. I'd quit playing music for about 10 years after I lost my brother, who was my musical partner. And it took about that long to want to do it again. And Stuart asked me once to join this band, and I said, no, I got a good job with the airlines, and I don't want to do that. And so Nick Haney joined the band and played bass for a season. And Nick got really ill from working in the pesticide-laden grape fields of Arkansas. And so he had to leave the band. And that's when Stuart called me up again and said, would you please help us out with a 3-week tour with Pete Rowan in the Northwest? And I asked my boss at the airport if I could do that. He said, sure, go ahead. And after about the first week of being treated so well by the audience, I was hooked again, and it was time to hang up my monkey wrench for my bass again.
What really got him was when I took and dribbled money all over him.
Yeah. Yeah, when
laying on the couch, and I just took money and said, look, Gene, it'll be like this all the time.
Yeah. He poured 1,500 $1 bills over my half-naked body, and that did it. I said, "This is really cool." Of course, that was the pay for the entire career of.
You didn't know till then there was money in it, did you? Yeah. A little bit.
I hope, Pete, that I answered some of your question.
Answered it all. Well, you mentioned how you liked the audience is treating you well. What was your thought about, here I am, and I got in a situation, this is a fine band. What can I do to keep this job, keep these guys happy, make this a better band?
To keep the job, stay in time, play the right notes, be on time, wear the jobbing toga. You don't know about that, do you? Yeah, you got to wear the toga if you want the job, But I just thought it was a fabulous opportunity to play music again, and a good friend of mine, Bob Applebaum, who's a fabulous mandolin player, he urged me to do this because I was really having a tough time deciding what I was going to do because I was really giving up a lot. And it's big life changes like that always take, a long time to make a decision, especially when it's me. I take a long time to make up my mind to do things, but when I do, then that's final. That's it. Fast. Did I answer your question yet?
Getting close.
Getting close.
You get in on some of the singing sometimes, do you not?
Yes.
Well, how about it? Why don't we, can I get you guys to do something that involves Gene doing some singing in addition to his bass playing?
Singing and playing at the same time?
Well, or taking turns or whatever,
okay.
Singing into it, holding it up and singing.
Let's see.
You want this mic here? You sing on a chorus of some song we do, like, was it the Doghouse Blues or one of those?
Or
there's probably something else, too, I think.
Frankie and
Doghouse Blues, we already did that.
I mean, Frankie and Johnny's the one I'm thinking about.
I got a better idea. You said singing and playing bass at the same time.
Oh, okay.
People have asked me about that, and how do you disconnect your hands from your mouth? Well, sometimes I only open my mouth to change feet. You got some of this bass out there? I'll try and do this song at 5,280 feet.
It's tough, Dean. Take a breath.
Sometimes I'm happy, sometimes I'm blue. My disposition depends on you. Well, I never mind all that rain from the sky, just as long as I can see all of that love light in your eyes. Sometimes I hate you, sometimes I love you, but when I hate you, it's 'cause I love you. Well, darling, that's the way that I've found I am. There's nothing I can do. I'm happy when I'm with you. Dear, sometimes I'm happy. Sometimes I feel so blue, I don't know what to do. Oh, my disposition depends so very, very much on you. I never mind when raindrops fall from skies above me, as long as there's sun shining in your eyes, shining very brightly to tell me that you love me. Oh, sometimes I hate you, then again I love you, so I know I'll never let you go. But whenever I hate you, it's 'cause I love you. Well, darling, that's the way that I've found I am. There's nothing I can do, even try to take it on the lam, baby. Happy only when I'm with you. Had to get back to you.
Darling, that's the way that I found that I am. So what can I do? I wish you'd think about the future. If you should ever leave me, darling, I would be so blue. I'm only happy, dear, when I'm with you.
That's how you do it.
Pete. As long as we're in an academy situation, I don't mean to interrupt you, as long as we're in an academy situation, there's something else to learn there. Alan was playing the nose flute, and one thing that we learned early on is never lend anyone your nose flute. Good advice.
Words from the wise. Thank you, Pat. A lot of people were just getting ready to. I saw them starting to pass them around.
Don't pass them around. It's unhygienic.
I don't know if you could see the concentration it takes to do the sing and play the bass. If you were watching his face, you can tell he really has to concentrate to do all that. Because there's a lot there. It runs and...
Well, very good. There's a thing that I learned to do where you could just separate the two and play the bass in one tempo and play with the tempo of the vocals. Yeah. And it took a while to get that down. I started doing that in 1977, that song, in Germany. And it took a while to get it to that point, but I think it's a hit.
Did you practice with a metronome or just concentrate hard and do it over and over again?
Years of doing it. No, I didn't use a metronome. Just a little bit of practice. Actually, most of the practice was done on stage.
All right.
Earn while you learn.
Learn awesome. While you earn. It's really amazing. What Stanley Brothers record is that from?
No, that's finger.
Sacred Songs of Duke Ellington.
Right. Yeah, I thought the music is that from the 40s, like I was saying earlier, or probably a little earlier?
That song was recorded in the 1920s and in the 30s, and then by a guy named King Pleasure in 1954.
All right, got our discography down. Well, folks, do you have any questions for these guys and gal in the band here? If you don't, you know I do, but I want to give you a chance. Yes. That's an interesting question. Who wants to answer that?
Yeah, there was a point came when you just make the decision. It's not anything that was weighing either way. Just you make the decision. When this band got started, I was selling housewares at a department store, so it wasn't a tough decision for me. I even sold brassieres for a week.
Can't believe you gave that up.
I'm secure in my sexuality.
It's the whole visible means of support thing.
I gave it up real early. I had a day job. A part-time job after school. Went to California. I was 16 years old. And boxing groceries and going to school. And I turned 18 and went to work for Lockheed Aircraft. Did that for 2 years, and they laid me off. It was a big layoff, so this is in Burbank. So I told the guys, I said, look, they told me I'm going to be laid off for a year, and they're going to call us back. And when they call me back, I don't want to go back. So we have to really get this band going. So we practiced the nights we didn't play, we practiced 2 hours a night, sometimes 7 nights a week. Billy Ray, Latham, Clarence, Eric, and myself. And when the time came to go back to work, I didn't. But it was easy because I was living at home. I didn't have any big financial responsibilities. So that's where I gave up day jobs. Even though I've had a few since then, but, sometimes you have to.
Let's see. I moved to Nashville right out of high school, went to engineering school. When I graduated from engineering school, I took, actually I was working with James Monroe at the time. Went to work with Claire Lynch. I may get this out of sync here, but when I came off the road with Claire Lynch, I just felt like I had to get off the road, and worked in the field a while, doing troubleshooting and for a company there in Nashville. And the whole time that I was working that job, which I enjoyed, I had tunes and melodies and musical ideas running through my head to the point that it just about ran me nuts. And I said, I got to do this. And I did it at least as much session work during that 4 years as any other time in my career. But I was in Nashville all the time. And just when the opportunity came along to do this, I sort of eased into it, but it just became apparent to me the path I needed to take. And so I gave my notice, and I've been doing this ever since. And that was 1984.
Life story thing. Got another question before we get into do another song here? Yes.
We don't live together, for one.
We don't work all that much, so.
Well, one thing that really helps is we don't stay out all week very often at all. Usually just weekends. We get to fly to the gigs. We're gone 2-3 days at the most. We get home. I have a bunch of things I do. We don't see each other when we're home unless we have rehearsals or business meeting, which happens quite a bit. So that being on the road less is really is good. And then we also have our own rooms. I've been working all my life for that, to have my own room. So when I shut the door, it's my room. It's my place, you know.
Get decorated any way you like.
Anyway,
Just any color spray paint.
Paint it black. Glue the furniture to the ceiling. It's a wonderful life.
He means rooms when we're on the road, is what he means. Yeah. I think, of course, Roland White was a hero of mine long before he worked in this band, and it's a great honor to get to be on the road with all these guys. I think one of the things, because I work with a lot of people that are in formative stages of their career, and they don't really have the experience of developing professional relationships with their colleagues to the point of really knowing how to separate that. The interesting thing about being in a band like this, especially for this many years, I think that, playing music with people, it's really hard to separate, because with playing music with people, it's a very emotional thing, and you get very close to them. A lot of people say the relationship is as close as a marriage, and it's that way to a certain extent. But I think that a good, healthy, professional relationship, which is separated from your personal relationship and just what the responsibilities of that are, and a lot of mutual respect, gets you a long way toward being able to get along with each other and keep going.
Before I want to get you to do one of your trademark kinds of things, which is the wonderful quartet singing. But I had just a comment, and see if you wanted to join in with any mention about that, which is one of the things that I really find distinguished about this band is that, unlike so many other bands, you have a wide variety of tempos. There isn't just like that tempo and that tempo and that tempo and pick which one of the three it's going to be. And there's a lot of dynamics, just different surges of volume and then quiet things in the middle. And I'm wondering whether that is something that you all just have a natural feel for and kind of happens by itself, or you kind of talk about that and try to make it happen. Either of those kinds of things. Both.
I think it was conscious from the beginning that we wanted to put those things back. I think the best bluegrass I ever heard was the first I ever heard, and it had that quality. It had the quality dynamics where you could quiet down, where there could be large holes and still be filled. You could play a slower tempo and still put some kind of energy into it. Energy and speed don't necessarily go together. Mm-hmm. I think it was conscious when we first started out to try to have a more ensemble sound and be able to do that together and still be able to improvise, people be able to improvise, and just listening into it a little bit more than you might normally do.
From my point of view, that's part of what makes this band have some of its staying powers from that, because there's a sort of just a richness or depth to the music that has a lot of levels to it. You can get in on the words, and then you can follow what each of the people is doing, and nobody is playing just out of a formula, as far as I can hear, and that you're playing right into what the material is about. And just for instance, that Homeless Waltz, I can't think of what other band in bluegrass would even tackle a tune like that. And yet you still have the barn burner type things, and the full gamut of the things that really mean a lot in bluegrass. So that's less of a question than a sort of I just wanted to share my observation with everybody about that. And I think it's one of the things that makes this group really special, and it ties to the masters that I mentioned early on. So hopefully in the instrument classes and all the instruction that you're going to be picking up from them during the week, it's not necessarily something that's going to get verbalized a lot, but just sort of tune into that. Sometimes people kind of get hung up, I think, on the strong and macho kind of aspects of bluegrass, which are there and which I think are really impressive and wonderful. But sometimes people's involvement with bluegrass kind of ends right at that point, where they like the harmony singing and the fast banjo or something like that. And there's so much more to it. And if you're going to really stay with bluegrass for a long time, having that richness, I think, keeps the appetite whetted at all points. And I've found that over the career of this band. And a band that has lasted 16 years is really impressive. There's no, this is not so-and-so and his so-and-sos. This is a cooperative effort, and that's really hard to attain. And I'm just really impressed. I'm really glad you guys are here. So let's give them all a hand for that. I did want to ask a little bit of Sally, well, go ahead.
I was just going to offer my opinion as somebody who I sit in. No, I want to yell. As someone who sits in with a lot of I freelance, which means nobody owns me, which is a good thing for my personality. Then I sit in and play with a lot of people. Excuse me? Would that be type A or B? But out of all the people that I've sat in over the last 25 years that I've been playing music, don't cry when you hear this, okay? No. There's been nothing more fun and more musically pleasing to me than standing in the middle of this band's rhythm and in the middle of this band's vocals. To me, it's like when I step on stage, I'm an unknown, I'm kind of a loose cannon factor for this band, I'm sure. But everything is so great and complete and so well executed that it's effortless for me to play with these guys. And that doesn't happen very much for a side player. You're usually kind of going, oh God, what chord's next? Oh God, what's going to happen next? Oh man, am I speeding up? No, they're speeding up. I've never once, out of how many years have I known you guys and sat in with you, and it's never happened that way to me before. I played a gig with them at the Station Inn because Missy Raines was there. You were gone, and I had 104 fever and pneumonia, and I still had like a great night, because it was all really solid. It's just a complete picture musically. So when you watch bands like this, what you should be doing is watching everything, not just how cool the songs are, but how the rhythm works. There's no funner rhythm to play with for me in the world than these guys. So watch those kinds of things too, and really learn from how they interact without interacting really loud. It's all subtle to me. But that's just my testimonial. Can I have my money now?
We haven't paid yet.
It's good to hear those heartfelt testimonials. Well, would anybody else like to share? No.
An altar call here in a minute.
Like I said, I would like to get you guys to do that trademark harmony kind of thing that you do so well, the quartet thing, and then right following that, we'll have you kind of lead the group here, showing them some parts on one of your songs. Remember, talked about that, I guess, with Steve. So we'll leave it to you. Take it away with whatever you're going to do for your quartet.
Okay. We're missing Stuart, and Stuart has always been a part of the quartets. And things he sings bass on, we're kind of avoiding this weekend. But we have a song here we recorded, 85 or 86 or something, on a gospel album called To Be His Child. It was a title to it, and it was originally a shape note harmony song that we learned it from a group called the Duck Creek Quartet in Tennessee. And we kind of changed it around a little bit and did a little different style of harmony on it. So we'll do it for you. It's called To Be His Child.
Once I was lost, wandering in sin. My heart was heavy and burdened within. Jesus, one day, He gave to me. Now I'm His child, for He set me free. To be His child is worth more than silver or gold. To be His child is worth more than this world can hold. And with Him keeping my soul, no harm can befall. I am His child, and that's worth it all.
You probably have not taught people how to sing Who's Knocking on My Door along with you before. Do I have that right? Is this going to be a first?
This is a first.
Okay, well, what I'm thinking is that probably a lot of people have heard the song, but some people haven't heard the song. So maybe would you do a little bit of it, not the entire thing, but just, verse and a chorus or something like that, just to give people a feel for it. And then we'll start breaking it down into the pieces and get people to sing what they can sing.
Okay, it's in your songbook, and some of the words are misspelled. So we'll start there.
Like your name.
My name is misspelled. And when you see who's that knocking at my do, it's not knocking at my do. I did not write this with a Scottish accent.
It's not Pat Henry.
Okay, for all you banjo players out there, you're going to tune your fourth string down to C.
We talked a little bit about this in the various guitar classes yesterday about using the capo and why you put a capo on a certain fret to play a certain shape, and we talked about how I like having the open E string, and especially in a tune that's kind of dark and creepy like this one is. I think it adds to it rather than play at the third fret out of D or the fifth fret out of C or something. You get that open lower note on there, and it keeps it kind of guttural or something. I don't know. We'll do this. This is called Who's That Knocking at My Door? We'll go, I think there's a couple verses in the chorus, and after the chorus, we'll stop and we'll show you how this chorus goes. It's a little bit different than standard bluegrass harmony, so we'll try this. I have to go to the bathroom. Can we hurry up?
2, 3.
That knocking at my door. I haven't heard that knock before. Is it evil trying to get into my room? Who's that tapping at my window? Who's calling me to go to a place that is filled with dark and gloom? Oh, this life that I'm living seems so unforgiving. I find trouble everywhere that I go. I always seek it first to quench my burning thirst in waters that are cool as fall of snow. Who's that knocking at my door? I've heard that knock before. Is it evil trying to get into my room? Who's that tapping at my window, who's calling me to go to a place that is filled with dark and gloom.
Okay.
Right.
That's part of it.
Yeah, we're not teaching the banjo break now. You'll save that for your banjo class there.
No, sometimes we were talking about how bluegrass songs can be like a snake eating its tail. It just never know when to stop. Ever think of it that way? Well,
No,
I always
never did.
have. I still do. Lay awake at night.
We had more time, we'd get into that. But why don't we start with the melody? You're doing the melody, right? Isn't that
Right.
You're the highest part and the melody.
I'm the
That's
highest part,
unusual.
except the last line I switched to tenor. And then Alan can tell you what he does, and Roland can tell you what he does.
Okay, well, why don't we start
in
with
that
the melody?
context,
Why don't we
yeah.
start with your part
On
then?
the chorus?
Yeah.
Okay. My chorus. Who's that knocking at my door? Have I heard that knock before? Is it evil trying to get into my room? Who's that tapping at my window? Who's calling me to go to a place that is filled with dark and gloom? Sorry, I'm listening.
Okay, you know, I made a mistake because I was some of it I was kind of catching on to. I guess maybe because my ear went to your part. I was thinking of that as the melody, but that is not really the melody. That's the tenor part, right?
You know what's confusing
that
about
right.
that?
Who's that knocking at my door? Have I heard that knock before? Is it evil trying to get into my room? Just having a little trouble breathing here.
The thing that's so confusing about that arrangement is that Pat sings the lead on the verses.
Mm-hmm.
But when we go to the chorus, I start singing lead.
Okay.
And he goes to actually what is a tenor line. But when he says, let's see, and I don't know if the lyric, not before, is it evil trying, up to there, he's singing a tenor line. But then he goes to a high baritone line, and Stewart, who is singing a baritone up to that point, hops up and sings the tenor line.
Okay, so now at that point, the melody is the lowest pitch of the three lines.
Actually, I'm sorry. Stewart jumps up and sings the lead, and I sing the baritone on that. It's evil trying to get into my room. Just that much of the line. Mm-hmm. So it's extremely confusing.
All right. Well, rather than get into all the how you arranged it, which would be worth learning, but we don't have time for a lot of that. Why don't we just start showing the parts and start with what you sing, because that is more the melody, most of it.
Yeah, most of it. Okay.
Go ahead.
Who's that knocking at my door? Have I heard that knock before? Is it evil trying to get into my room?
Sing it again, everybody.
Who's that knocking at my door? Have I heard that knock before? Is it evil trying to get into my room?
What is the next one?
Who's that tapping at my window? Who's calling me to go to a place that is filled with dark and gloom?
And how about one more review? Just do the whole thing one more time.
Who's that knocking at my door? Have I heard that knock before? Is it evil trying to get into my room? Who's that tapping at my window? Who's calling me to go to a place that's filled with dark and gloom?
Now, the end you go, just filled with dark and gloom, but on the first part you go, is evil trying to get into my room? Get into my room. That's a tenor part. But is that what you do? I mean, we're trying to show them exactly what you're doing.
Yeah. I don't remember. Yeah, that's what. No, you
It's
just
hard to describe how
you just did
how
it.
you
Yeah,
tie
but
your
it's
shoelaces,
a little
but you
tenor
can
part
do it.
there.
I know how that goes.
That's where the baritone comes up, does the lead,
Okay.
and you do it tenor part.
Yeah, when I'm doing it by myself, though, it doesn't sound the same.
I know, but
Messes me
you
up.
did it right. Try it again. Try it again.
Okay, and let's just try to make sure. Do I have it right that he goes high on the evil trying to get into my room?
Tenor part.
So there's a temptation to just sing what sounds like it's going to be the melody, but to do it their way, you got to switch to that tenor part. So listen carefully to the way he's doing it and follow him. on the first half.
Who's that knocking at my door? I haven't heard that knock before. Is it evil trying to get into my room?
There it is.
Who's that knocking at my window? Who's calling me to go to a place that is filled with dark and gloom?
All right, yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think that's right.
Now,
Yeah, that's right.
well, that's where they're going to learn it today anyway, and then you can change it tomorrow.
This is what happens at a real rehearsal.
Right. Okay, now why don't we add Pat's part? Now, there's not a whole lot of people are going to be able to sing as high as you get up on this
All the
one,
ladies
but
can.
certainly the
Including
ladies will.
myself.
Well, give it a shot.
Who's that knocking at my door? Haven't heard that knock before. Is it evil trying to get into my room?
There we go.
Who's that tapping at my window? Who's calling me to go to a place that is filled with dark and gloom?
Yeah.
Do it again.
Try it again. Sing loud. The people, as you're getting it, make it loud.
Who's that knocking at my door? Haven't heard that knock before. Is it evil trying to get into my room? Who's that tapping at my window? Who's calling me to go to a place that is filled with dark and gloom?
Okay, let's. Why don't we put those two parts together, and whichever one you can sing along with them, but let them do most of the singing. If they're getting it, back off a little bit.
There's one note that Pat's singing, though. Everybody's going up to the note. He's actually.
So,
That's blues.
Be sure to be cool.
Can you sing it one more time?
sure. Who's that tapping? See, you've confused us all. Who's that knocking at my door? Haven't heard that knock before. Haven't heard that knock before. Heard that knock before. Heard that knock before.
There we go. Yeah, at the beginning of 4 is higher.
Heard that knock before.
It's just unheard. He's like
I have to put the blues in my music.
That's right.
Heard that knock before.
that's the note that makes that chorus like jump for me.
All right.
Well,
Well,
that's good.
Alan,
That's good.
why don't Alan and Pat get up there and do their parts, but kind of on the quiet side, and let the people in the group here drown them out with their rendition.
Who's that knocking at my door? I haven't heard that knock before. Is it evil trying to get into my room? Who's that tapping at my window? Who's calling me to go to a place that is filled with dark and gloom?
Okay, one more time, just you guys. 1, 2, 3. That's great. Good job. It's great to hear 150 people singing a really lonesome song all together in harmony. Okay, let's get the third part on there here.
Okay.
Let's hear about the third part.
When this was first recorded, it was recorded in Dreadful Snakes, and we did it a little differently, so I got confused there, but I think I found the part. They rearranged it a little bit. That part there changes where it didn't when we first did it. Anyways, this is better.
You sing your part by yourself?
Who's that knocking at my door? Okay. Who's that knocking at my door? Have I heard that knock before? It is evil trying to get into my room. Get into my room. That's the part I forgot. Okay. Who's that knocking at my door? Have I heard that knock before? Is it evil trying to get into my room?
So you're switching to the melody just for that. Get into my
Right,
room.
because he does a tenor, he does a high baritone, so it just moves. Originally it didn't, but it does now. Okay. Who's that second half? Who's that tapping at my window? who's calling me to go to a place that is filled with dark and gloom. That's it.
One more time.
Okay.
Do it a couple more times so that everybody can get with it. One.
Who's that knocking at my window? I'm sorry, the words. Knocking. Who's that knocking at my window?
Knocking at my do.
Not my do. Oh, yeah, okay. Here we go. Who's that knocking at my door? Have I heard that knock before? Is it evil trying to get into my room? Who's that tapping at my window? Who's calling me to go to a place that is filled with dark and gloom? There we go.
Filled with dark and gloom.
Right.
And that the first note is also that same who's
that
third.
Who's that
Start
knocking at
third in the
my
chord.
window? Yeah.
Who's that knocking at my window? All right. One more time, and then we'll put them together. Let's try it.
Who's that knocking at my window? Sorry, again. Who's that knocking at my door? Have I heard that knock before? Is it evil trying to get into my room? Who's that tapping at my window? Who's calling me to go to the place that is filled with dark and gloom? Oh, we got high baritones in there too. That's pretty.
Yeah, that's true. If somebody wants to try that, although we need the high voices on the top to kind of keep the balance. There's, with all the guys in the crowd, they're in the range we've been singing in just now. All right, you think you remember your parts? Some people do anyway. How about a quick review of the tenor? One time on the tenor.
Who's that knocking at my door? Have I heard that knock before? Is it evil trying to get into my room? Who's that tapping at my window? Who's calling me to go to a place that is filled with dark and gloom?
Okay. And the melody, good old melody.
Who's that knocking at my door? I haven't heard that knock before. Is it evil trying to get into my room? Who's that tapping at my window? Who's calling me to go to a place that is filled with dark and gloom?
Okay, quick, before everybody forgets their part, get the rhythm going just on one instrument maybe, and then get them doing it all three parts.
Who's that knocking at my door?
Have I heard that knock before? Is it evil trying to get into my room?
Who's that tapping at my window? Who's calling me to go to a place that's filled with dark and
Okay, now just them.
Okay. Yeah. There we go.
That's great. How about one more time for practice and loud and lonesome? Okay, how about, that's great, terrific. Why don't you maybe do the part of the song you hadn't done yet, pick it up where that banjo break was and go out to the end of the song, but when it comes to the chorus, just let them do it.
Okay. We won't. We'll let you do the chorus.
That's hard to do, come in the middle of the song. I hope I get the right verses. It's like, you want to do the whole tune over? You want to do that one? Yeah, that's right. Let's do it. But Sally, would you join us on this? So, I want to say something about this song. Some folks asked, would you do that gospel song you wrote? And it's not really a gospel song. And you have the words in front of you, and I'm sure you can figure that out yourself. But It's not Raymond Chandler, but it's pretty down there. I'll tell you right. Okay, who's going to kick it?
Sally's going to kick it off. She's going to take Stuart's partner.
Tempo of your choice.
Is that all we've been?
You got your $2. Come on, doing the work for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This life that I'm living seems so unforgiving. I find trouble everywhere that I go. I always seek it first to quench my burning thirst in waters that are cool as falling snow. Who's that knocking at my door? What you sow, you must reap, and now I hear it knocking at my door. It's evil standing outside. There's no place to run and hide. It clutch my soul and press me to the floor. Who's that knocking at my door? I've been down that pathway that always leads the wrong way. This time I don't think I'll be back. It's like a freight train pulling me. There's a dark tunnel ahead I see. The train's going down the one-way track. Thank you all very much.
Very good.
Excellent.
Excellent job. Fine job, everybody. You guys are done. Good job.
All right.
Excellent. Thanks again to the Nashville Bluegrass Band.
Thank you.